Hey, this is Bob Neve again at the Clearview Center. We're going to do a little step 2 work again today. This is a really important concept for recovery from addiction and depression and anxiety. And I want to make sure everyone here has thought about this and recognizes the distinction between these two concepts. So there was a guy named Gordon Allport, who's a psychotherapist, professor, and researcher in the 60s. He was reviewing hundreds of research studies, about half of which concluded religion did not help people stay clean and sober and out of depression or anxiety. And the other half said just the opposite, that religion actually helped people get clean and sober and happy and calm. So he reviewed the method of the studies and the definition of religious and non-religious people and was able to see the distinction between people who practice their religion intrinsically and those who practice extrinsically. So the person practicing an intrinsic religion sincerely believes in their views of spirituality. So they're sincere, they truly believe from inside, from the heart, we might say, but definitely from inside. And these people are driven by internal motivations to meditate on what is good, to practice what's good. I meant to put here meditate. To meditate on what's good, to practice what is good, and to actually endeavor to live their lives as their conscience teaches that they should. So these people are led by conscience. Now, the extrinsic religious person, the person practicing an extrinsic religion, does not sincerely believe. So they're not sincere. They don't sincerely believe in the view of spirituality that's imposed on them from their family, their culture, their loved ones, or other external entities. So they feel like their religion is imposed upon them. They feel like they're forced, cajoled. That's one of my favorite words. They feel forced, they feel cajoled. They do the minimum to adhere to the religious teachings that they're forced or pressured to practice. Here there's external pressure, right? And so they go through the motions, either to please other people, often out of guilt. They feel if they don't, then they feel guilty, right? Or as a form of distraction, or and they get a shallow sense of security or artificial peace, or for social status or social networking or political influence. So often they're doing this for status or some kind of political influence. These people often see religion as a means to an end, unlike the intrinsically religious who see religion as the end itself. People high in extrinsic religious orientation are more likely to conform to social norms and demands rather than what the religion requires, and are often prone to twist their religious beliefs to serve their own political goals. So what Gordon Allport noticed after he figured out this distinction in around 1967, in his subsequent studies, and really every other study done since 1967 that measures the participants' level of extrinsic or intrinsic religiosity, it's very clear. People who practice intrinsic religion are less likely to be drug addicted, less likely to be alcoholic, less likely to be depressed, and less likely to be anxious. It was also clear that people who practice extrinsic religion are far more likely to be drug addicted, alcoholic, depressed, or anxious. Furthermore, for the non-religious person who didn't practice any religion at all, who was already addicted, depressed, or anxious, those who found an intrinsic religious practice were far more likely to recover from their disorder than those who found an extrinsic religious practice. In fact, the non-religious person who found no religious practice had a better chance of getting clean and sober and reducing their depression and anxiety symptoms than the person who found an extrinsic religious practice. So the lesson we can learn from this research is, one, don't try to practice something you don't really believe. Religion, spirituality has to be practiced sincerely. It has to be from inside, from our own heart, from what we really truly believe. Two, don't be guilt manipulated into a religious practice that's not meaningful for you. If it doesn't help, it doesn't help. And three, being open-minded, willing to learn from other people, from reading, from our own prayer and meditation, seems to be the best path for a healthy spiritual development. So be open, discuss with other people, be open-minded and be willing, but don't force yourself to try to believe something that you don't believe. My particular religion, I'm a Christian. I really truly believe that until God changes us and changes our heart, that any practice that we do really doesn't benefit us at all anyways. It's always good to try to do good, to meditate on what's good, to practice what is good, to follow our conscience. But until God gives us the power to live the life that he wants us to live, we probably can't change our behavior very much. We probably can't change what we think very much. We can over time. I know plenty of people who've gotten clean and sober who don't have any religion at all. And the goal here in treatment at the Clearview Center is to stay clean and sober and to stay out of trouble. Those two things. Stay clean and sober, stay out of trouble. Those two things. If you happen to find a good intrinsic religion that you can practice throughout your life that helps you stay calm and peaceful, then that's wonderful too. And of course, anytime anybody wants to ask me about the details of my religion, I'm more than willing to share. So anyways, Gordon Allport, extrinsic and intrinsic religion, very important for us to think about. So I'd like you guys to share like different experiences that you've had and figure out if there have been times that you felt pressured and guilt-ridden and imposed on from the outside, and if there's been other times that you've practiced things inside. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight.